Hello, hola, bueno, este es Ron con Ana Computers de anacomputers.com. So this is Aaron with Ana Computers from anacomputers.com with another video until I run out of blog posts, which I have quite a few left to go. I just go to my website and then go back to my archive blog posts and then read them off, but then I also freestyle and add some additional information. This one I filed under software problems, QuickBooks error, how to resolve QuickBooks H202 error. Are you getting QuickBooks error H202 when switching to multi-user mode? When trying to switch to multi-user mode on one of your workstations, you're getting error H202. This program will not switch over to multi-user mode. Basically, with QuickBooks, you can set it up to network it so that more than one person can access a QuickBooks file, and that's very pertinent and very convenient for small businesses, etc. Anyways, as a result, you can only get one person in a QuickBooks file at a time. Please download and run this QuickBooks Network Diagnostic tool on a computer that has your company file shared. Hopefully that tool will be able to diagnose and tell you what exactly needs to be done to fix your issue. So let's go out to that web page from intuit.com. And then in a description of this YouTube video, I will include the URL to my website, anacomputers.com, right here, the exact URL, so that you can quickly go to these links. QuickBooks File Doctor, fix your company file or network. It looks like it's for United States, Canada, and United Kingdom customers. I'm not going to go over every little detail, but we can quickly go through here real quick. Let's see, this article can help you if you can't open your company file, or you get a 6xxxx error, or you get an H202 error opening QuickBooks over a network, or multi-user setup issues. So let's skip through the component repair tool. How to use a QuickBooks File Doctor. Download QuickBooks File Doctor. So you just click on it and then save file. I'm not going to, but it's an executable. If you already have a version of File Doctor on your computer, proceed with downloading and installing File Doctor from this article to ensure you have the latest release. That's important. So they update it. Latest release. Number 2, once the download is complete, double-click the qbfd.executable and follow the on-screen instructions. Number 3, once the File Doctor is finished installing, it will automatically open. If not, double-click on the green File Doctor icon on your desktop so it creates a desktop icon. Number 4, if you see a message that you need administrator rights to continue, click yes. Number 5, select one of the following options, both file damage and network connectivity. So let's skip to the second one, network connectivity only. You want to select that one for the H202 error. If you're using QuickBooks in a multi-user setup and get an H202 error when you try to open your company file, network errors. Number 6, if prompted, enter the admin password for your company file and then click next. That's if you have an admin password for your company file. Number 7, choose one of the following options. If prompted to share your company file, yes. If you're running File Doctor on the computer hosting the company file, your server. So that's a very important detail. If you are on the same computer where your company file is located for QuickBooks, you want to select yes at this prompt. Select no if you are running File Doctor on a computer that is not hosting the company file, your workstation. So you might be running the File Doctor on a laptop that connects to your company file, but it's not the same computer with the company file on it. Then you would say no. 8, proceed according to the results in the following table. I'm not going to go through this lengthy table. Again, I will include a link to my website that has a link to this URL on intuit.com so that you can quickly get to it and then follow these instructions. And as you can see, it's a pretty lengthy table. But number 8 could be very important because it tells you the results repair complete. We're sorry we couldn't find anything. We're sorry your company file can't be repaired. That's no bueno muy mal message there. Upload your file to data services. Folder containing company file is not shared. Hosting mode is off. QBCF monitor service is not running. QDB manager N is not running. And your antivirus is active and maybe blocking QuickBooks. That could be a really quick fix, is disable your antivirus. But I would highly recommend that once you run the File Doctor, that you go through this table, because it should tell you a result. And then you can quickly find out what to do next. I'm not going to go over all this because it's quite lengthy and that this could take, I don't know, half an hour or an hour, but you know how big of a mouth I have. It could, trust me, you don't want to listen to me talking about QuickBooks for an hour. Maybe you do, but I don't know why you would. But so optional, well, this is just feedback. You don't have to do that. This might be important. File Doctor limitations. You must be connected to the internet to upload the file for manual repair if presented with the option. Your company file must be smaller than 2 gigabytes to upload through this tool. So if your company file is larger than 2 gigabytes, it will not work with this File Doctor tool. 2 gigabytes or smaller. You can resume the download while the tool is still open. However, if the tool is closed, the upload will start again. You must be logged in as the Windows administrator to run network diagnostics. If Windows UAC, user account control, is turned on, the tool will be relaunched with elevated administrator privileges. That's very pertinent on Windows Vista 7 and 8. For data damage related issues, the File Doctor works on .qbw. We don't have to go over that. This is specifically for an H202 error, which is a network error, but this could be very pertinent information. So this is also important information, not only if you're having problems accessing your company file for Intuit over a network, but also if you're having problems with the company file. It has a repair tool. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that. That could be a different video. So back to my blog post. I'll just start from the second paragraph and read it. Well, I think I already read it. I'll just read it again real quick. As a result, you can only get 1% of a QuickBooks file at a time. Please download and run this QuickBooks network diagnostic tool on a computer that has your company file shared. Hopefully that tool will be able to diagnose and tell you what exactly needs to be done to fix your issue. I would recommend, in my opinion, I think it'd be better if you actually ran this tool on the same computer on the server where that company file is located. I'm thinking you could have a problem with your firewall. You could have a problem with your antivirus or malware program that you have running in the background. If you're having a network problem already accessing your QuickBooks file, maybe it's an overall network issue you're having. And then so when you go to run the File Doctor tool over the network, you might have a problem running the tool. So if it's possible, I would recommend you run it on the same computer. Now, obviously, if you have a Windows server that you don't have access to, it might be problematic. But if you have a small network at home, you just have a handful of computers and your server is just a desktop computer running XP, Vista 7 or 8, and then you connect with it, just as an example, a laptop. I would go over to the desktop computer and then download the tool onto that desktop computer that hosts the QuickBooks file. If that tool does not help you, then I have provided a troubleshooting link for a H202 error you're receiving from QuickBooks support. And here's a screenshot for this error. I just UD'd. I think that's my first in this video. Not bad. Anyways, going back to this link for QuickBooks, I'm not going to go over this in entirety because it can get quite lengthy because it's got different sections that you can expand, but I'll go over quickly the basics. This is for error H101, H202, but this video is specifically succinctly for H202. H303, H505 when opening your company file. The H202 is a networking error. It says when you open a company file in multi-user mode, you see an error. You're trying to work with a company file located on another computer, and this copy of QuickBooks can't reach the server on that computer, H202. So I'm not going to read about these other errors in this second paragraph. The third paragraph, it appears that the QuickBooks software on computer server name is set up to allow shared connections to the company file, but the QuickBooks software on your computer is unable to communicate with it, H202. Here are some quick tips. Make sure that computer is booted up, obviously. I'm not trying to become condescending and insult your intelligence, but you could go over to that computer really quick, make sure it's booted up properly, make sure it doesn't have any problems. You could make sure that the network connection, that it has internet access or it can access other computers on your network. So you could check your Ethernet cable. You could check antivirus software on there or a firewall. Maybe they're messing. You could also just reboot it. Maybe if you reboot it and then make sure it has network connection, maybe hopefully that'll resolve your issue. If not, then there's plenty of possible solutions on this page. So it's trying to establish a connection to the company file and it can't communicate. Several issues can cause these errors. You need to know the host computer. So I'm not going to go over these diagrams in their entirety. They're pretty quick, but as you can see, hosting enabled, a server, multiple computers, workstation, hosting disabled. And then here's another one, peer-to-peer hosting. Peer-to-peer acts as a QuickBooks host. In other words, physically stores the QuickBooks company files. That's a simpler network. It's a desktop computer and then 2 laptops and another computer. Whereas a dedicated, you need to learn how to speak so you can make these videos. Okay, anyways, dedicated hosting diagram. This is more of a server. So you would have an actual file server. And then it could be, it might run, maybe it's a domain computer. It's actually a server running Windows Server, whatever, 2007 or 2013, or whatever you've got. Whereas the peer-to-peer is much easier. You just take you could take one of these laptops and then install QuickBooks and then enable multi-user support. Anyways, let's move on. Otherwise, this could get quite lengthy. We don't need to worry about the first part here. Intuit recommends several solutions for resolving H202 errors. The first solution may solve your problem, or you may need to try all of them to resolve the issue for best results. Now, here's a solution. I already gave you one solution. Was number 1, the File Doctor. Number 2, check hosting and services, verify hosting. Again, I'm not going to go through all this, but I'm going to make sure that I put a link in the description below in this YouTube video so that you can quickly get to my webpage on anetcomputers.com so that you can quickly get to these links. Verify QuickBooks services. That could be a quick one, pun intended. Go into services on XP, Vista 7 or 8. Make sure that QuickBooks service is running. Maybe it failed. Another quick tip, you could reboot all your computers and then give them 5-10 minutes to sync up. It could just be the service quit failing, or you can go into services via control panel and then look for the service. And then there's detailed instructions on how to get into services.msc and then look for the QuickBooks service, which is QuickBooks DBXX service. As you can see in the screenshot, make sure that it's started. It might not be running, and then bam, that would obviously not allow you to connect. or, you know what I'm saying, on the computer that the QuickBooks file is located that's networked, if that service is malfunctioning or not started, then obviously that would cause a problem for you to connect to that computer to access QuickBooks in multi-user mode. And then obviously you can try to start it or make sure it's set up to automatic. And then solution 3, open the network ports. This could get very lengthy. Open the network ports QuickBooks uses to transmit data. Windows 8, I'm not going to go over this because we're talking antivirus. You know, that's typical. You might have to disable your antivirus. You might have to disable your firewall real quick. And then, but there's inbound rules. I mean, it could get more convoluted and complex. These are the ports that QuickBooks uses. 8019, 56725, 5530, 363 through 55367. And they're different, so I don't want to go over all that to save time. But I did want to go over the basics. And then it's got instructions for Windows Vista 7 and Windows Server 2008 as far as firewall and rules and ports, TCP ports, as you can see here. So hopefully your problem isn't this convoluted and complex. But I would start from the top and start from the top and go down. Solution number 1, File Doctor. Solution 2, check hosting and services. Those to me are easier to diagnose and might be quicker. Then number 3, check services. That's a pretty quick one. Number 4 or number 3, network ports. That can be longer to troubleshoot. So let's see, Windows XP and Windows Server 2003. It's got instructions to check server ports. Ping the server computer. That's a quick one. Perhaps that computer name is Dell or Kansas City Royals. The Kansas City Royals are like big news. Maybe you're all excited that the Kansas City Royals might win the World Series and you named your server computer Kansas City Royals. Well, ping it. Go to a command prompt, type in ping space Kansas City Royals, and you should get an echo response. You should get a response. You should not receive a timeout. If you are getting timeout errors with a quick ping, I would say as a quick fix or a possible quicker solution is reboot that server computer or run over to it and check it out. Make sure that it can get on the internet if you allow it internet access, or make sure what you could do is the computer that you pinged Kansas City Royals, which is your QuickBooks file server, and it times out, go over to the Kansas City Royals machine and then ping the computer that you just pinged the server from. And if you don't get responses on either end, I would say, and then the computer that you ping the server, the Kansas City Royals machine, if that computer has internet access and you can ping other machines on your network if you have more than one computer or if you have a printer, I would say just reboot it. It could be a service issue. It could be just unstable. QuickBooks is just not stable on that computer in multi-user mode. Reboot it, and that might fix your issue. Solution 4, I'm not going to, see how it just goes on and on. It may be necessary to edit the Windows host file. That to me is a more complex solution. I'm not sure why your host file. Well, it is possible that malware or spyware can edit your host file. Hopefully it's not that drastic, but you could follow the steps, edit the Windows host file, look in it, and then solution 5, create a new folder for your company file. And then create a new folder, share. Maybe the folder was corrupt. And then, so I'm not going to go any more. Let's see, we're at the bottom. So that's it. I just wanted to go over the basics. I mean, really, you could spend a lot of time if I would have read all of this verbatim, and then if I would have commented on each and every section. I mean, we could be here forever. We could be here next year after the Kansas City Royals wins the World Series. I'm not a Kansas City Royals fan, but I found some mugs and some glasses, and I sold them on eBay. So, and perfect timing. But I don't really follow Major League Baseball. I just, sold some glasses, and I've got some mugs out there on eBay. So anyways, timing can be very important. Same thing with computers. All right, well, hopefully some of these tips, again, I know I'm reiterating, but I will include a link to this URL so you can quickly get to it. And this is a short blog post, but really it's the links that are the most important. The QuickBooks Network Diagnostic Tool, and then the QuickBooks Support page for H202 error. And then, do I have them? Yes, it's right here. I'll show them to you really quick. This is my eBay page, and aren't those fascinating mugs? I sold 4 glasses in about 2 days? I mean, somebody snatched them up really quickly for me. So hopefully I find some other Kansas City Royals memorabilia, because timing can be almost everything, but that's absolutist. But anyways, hopefully these tips help. And then you can always browse to anetcomputers.com for other possible potential fixes for your most common computer problem. Sorry, I can't help you with whether or not the Kansas City Royals are going to win or not, but neither here nor there. Adios. Thank you for listening.